Hello everyone and welcome. Yes, my name is Arafire and welcome back to another episode of Look Out and Shout. And today we are reviewing, yes it's Chug this time, this is Legacy Evolution Commander Class Armada Universe Optimus Prime, and that is a lovely bit of box art. The box art for Legacy has been good. It's a shame I don't really keep these boxes because it looks so good and exciting. But this is one I've been looking forward to. I was a fan of this back in the day. The design looking a bit different. Really liked how this looked in vehicle mode. So this was going to be a must for me. Plus, I've said before, the Commander class scale has really not let us down. I haven't had Motormaster, but I've got Jetfire and I've got Skylinks. I'm very happy with how this scale operates. The level of effort, materials, paint, die-cast, well not so much die-cast, but what you're getting in this range really makes it worthwhile. And yes, maybe it is a little pricey, but I was very happy to get this, and this is a very nice box. Now on the back you see the typical product shots of how he looks in all of his modes, which we will cover, but also interestingly, at the top here you see a QR code in the form of an Autobot symbol, and if you scan that, I don't mind showing you, you come to this kind of biopic page of who he is, what his details are, what his skills are, and yeah, it's really just like the character card that you would get, the plastic card that you would get with other figures, you now get as a scannable QR code. Okay, it's a bit less plastic, and it actually says on the box, plastic-free packing. So it's actually just held, like we've seen in case cardboard, and it's got some sort of tapes over it, some ties keeping it down, not made out of string or paper, but I guess plastic ones that you have to cut, I suppose. So plastic free, maybe it's not quite plastic, although I do see the irony in that it is a plastic figure itself. But hey, bit less plastic in the world, pretty much cardboard. Now I would show you the accessories, but it doesn't come with an awful lot, and that really comes with the figure itself, so I'll go into that. Let's get into the figure and have a look at it closer. And here he is in his vehicle mode, and I can't get it on the turntable. I can get the front cab on a turntable, but this is to show you all of it together. I really like that. I really like the aggressive front end of it, of the cab, but just how this looks as a truck. It's arguably maybe a bit squashed, a bit compact, but I think that looks really good. Rolls really nicely. And it just looks like a fun battle truck of some description. It's simple but effective. Trucks generally are. And yeah, the front of it looks a bit squashed and maybe a bit elongated, but it does what it needs to do. I love that sort of design, that roadster truck vibe with these vent stacks as well. I love the chiseledness around the front. The trailer is very much a trailer and does not have a little trailer leg, but you can see how the gun sits on top. I would have liked these wheels to actually move, actual moving tank treads. Instead you've just got faux wheels underneath, which is not to be not expected, but I would like that to be the actual feature, and I dare say on the Fans Hobby version you will have that. I may keep this in this mode. I really like how it comes across. All of the modes are pretty good from what I've seen so far, but taking this out of the box and having it in this mode, you think, yeah, this could be a lot of fun. So straight away for comparisons, here he is alongside Studio Series Battletrap from the Rise of the Beast film. Here he is alongside a more or less masterpiece car scale. This is X-Transbot's repaint of a Formula 1 car, their drag strip that they've used for a typical masterpiece scale, and a typical G1 inspired Optimus Prime. This is the Magic Square masterpiece scale Optimus Prime with a Takara trailer. Okay, let's get this bad boy transformed up, shall we? And here he is in his robot mode, and yeah, that's a nice little stocky, well built Optimus Prime. This Optimus was never particularly big. He was always kind of smaller in this stature, which led to the super combined form to come. But it does what it needs to do. He's a fun-sized bot. And how this colour, with really all of this set, the blue comprising from these legs, really is made up from this bot. The colour of the blue and the red making up most of the body colour really pops, really makes a difference. I really like his proportions and how he's kind of the entry-level bot in this set. He's the first one you come across before you start exploring this set's other modes. It does the job really well. And okay, maybe it's a little bit limited in a couple of places of articulation, but then not so much in some others because there's more flexibility here with other joints for limbs with a super combined mode to come. But let's get in for a closer look. So to pick him up, he's pretty normal in his weight and stature. As you can see, the head, maybe the eyes are a little bit sunken. Maybe you can't see the yellow eyes as clearly as you would like. But posability is pretty good. No opening of the hands, which is a tiny bit of a shame. But otherwise, it's all pretty nice. You get some good rotation on legs for poses because these will make up the arms of the super combine mode, to the point that when you put it back into place, you've really got to hold it to get it to attach again. But it's pretty good all the way around. And yeah, ankle tilt as well to boot. Bit limited on head rotation, but otherwise not too bad. Can't get it up and down too much. Also within the chest, if you open it down, he comes with his very own matrix. A slightly different matrix which he can take out, and you can see a very nice design to it, but he can't hold it because the hands don't open, so it really is only good to you in his chest, which is fine. It's just something that you won't see very often because generally it's going to be closed up like that. Accessory wise, he holds the big gun just like any other, no droopage, it's all pretty good. So yeah, it's a bit limited, but it does what it needs to do. And of course, the stacks from the vehicle mode become his arm cannons, which he can use just like the cartoon. Okay, now on to comparisons. Here he is alongside MMC's Optimus Pexus, their version of an IDW Orion Pax, Generations War Dawn Orion Pax, Takara MP44 Optimus Prime, Legacy Armada Starscream, and Fans Hobby Meg Tyranno, their version of an Armada Megatron. Maybe a bit too short in this scale, but then again, this bot version of Optimus Prime was always a fair bit shorter than the standing tall Megatron. It wasn't until he gets into his combined form that he stands a bit more toe-to-toe. And here is his base mode. This is the trailer turned into its flatpack battle station, and yeah, it's kind of something. It folds out, it stands a gun on it, and that's more or less the size of it. Base modes are never particularly fun or interesting unless you get it into Titan stage, but for this mode it reminds me a bit of the core class figure in a combiner set and how it forms a base mode. This is a bit unimaginative, but it's something you can do, probably better for mini-cons to actually use for this kind of scale and range, but that's how it looks anyway. And here is Optimus with his base. But as you see, if I get some of the smaller figures in my collection, you can see how that probably works better. Okay, let's get this playset combined up. And here he is in his super combined mode. And that's pretty impressive. That's pretty good. The grey maybe shows a bit more in this mode, given that his body is mostly trailer, and the grey is arguably a little bit of a dead colour. But the front, the waist, the arms, the gold used, it's lovely. Getting those real vibes of toys from back in the day. Combine mode is almost fiddly, clipping this back part in and getting a neck piece to attach, but otherwise you can work it out. You can go hard panther on this. You can get there yourself. I quite like it. I think the Commander class is such a good range. It's got playability to it. It's got heft to it with no die cast. You just get the impression of satisfaction here. I think it's a good bot. It's a good bot to use for Commander class. They've made a good show of it. And I think I haven't transformed away the leg there, but other than that, it's really good. I'm just very happy with this range, happy with Armada being used. It's just fun, and I think toys of this era were fun back in the day, and they're fun now. This is no exception. They've managed to capture that. Let's get in for a closer look. Now, it's a bit hard to get them all into shot, but if I bring them closer to the camera, you get that kind of real towering presence. But how he reacts to the light, the gold around the head and the shoulders really pops. The red as well. It's not the most vibrant red, but the light really reflects off it. I do find the grey a tad dull. Maybe it'd be nice to see that as an almost very off-white, pearlescent white. But I like it. I can't say I don't. It doesn't have rubber tyres, but I can forgive that, knowing the fact that this is Chug and not high-end Masterpiece. But it's still fun. This entire bot is fun. Now, you can get a fair range of motion looking up, nothing down, left and right, a little bit tight on the head sculpt. Shoulders, you have to be a little careful to move. We'll do ratchets out. There is some ratchets on this. It's good ratchets. Can get hefty ones out because, of course, these will make the legs of the mini bot mode. So there's tension in the right places here. Although I will say, as part of the transformation, that can come off a bit easy when you're trying to move. So that's just something you've got to bear in mind. Heavy ratchets on the elbow, possibly too heavy. But again, this was for the leg of the mini bot, the stability in mind for that. But no droopage whatsoever. He still holds out a gun nicely. No droopage at all. Nice open and close at the wrist. Bit tight again, but rather be too tight than too loose. No waist rotation because he locks in, which is a shame but understandable. And again, when it comes to the legs, there's ratchets in the right places, so it's friction outwards. If I hold up that, very heavy front and back, and then very heavy at the knee, very heavy. And then a very nice ankle tilt as well. So he will hold poses, and that one isn't part of any particular transformation. Sometimes have to tilt him back to get him to look a bit more restful, but really cannot complain. For comparison, and here he is alongside Earthrise Commander Class Jetfire, with all of his gear and fabled up. I might actually need to take off the chest plate so you can see a little better how he scales there. Quite a bit of a height difference, but then again, Jetfire was always a big bot. Armada Starscream, different scale, transformed in a bit of a rush, so there could be a few things mistransformed on him, but that's how he scales for height. War Dawn Orion Pax, Earthrise Commander Class Skylinks. It's a bit hard work to get these two in the same shot, but again, I'm really loving that scale. And Fans Hobby Meg Tyranno, their version of an Armada Megatron, and that is a scale that really works for me. I don't feel any need to upgrade. I think those two in that form scale just about right. So what are my final views on Armada Universe Optimus Prime? I'm very impressed. I have not been let down with the Commander class, and this is no exception. I like all of its modes. The base mode probably is the weakest. Base modes typically are. But it's fine, it's functional, it does what it needs to do. It more or less keeps up with the theme of it. I think if you want a good stocky Commander class, if you're a fan of this Armada Optimus Prime, then you can't go wrong. It's fair price for what you're getting. It's got good fun and playability to it. And this is what I've said about this era of Transformers going back to the original toys. They were fun. The Armada universe generally, RID and even late Beast Wars, they were fun toys. The playability was good. This has a bit of that. It does feel fun. I'm a very big fan of the truck mode, the alt mode. That's probably how I'll keep it. But also having it in this Super Optimus Combine mode and squaring this up to my Fans Hobby Megatron, that works really well. I do not feel the need to get the Naval Commander, their version of the Masterpiece scale, true Masterpiece scale, Optimus Prime, from Fans Hobby, just to scale up against that Megatron. I'm happy with this. And yeah, it's not disappointed. It's exactly what I wanted it to be, and it is very, very good. I do wish maybe the grey, you do find this with some Hasbro Generations lines, is that the grey can look very dead. It doesn't look painted. It just is grey, but the blue and the red more than makes up for it. He photographs really well. Shame we kind of have a little butt flat around the back of it, but I think that was the trouble with the original toy, so therefore the design of the figure, I would like rubber tyres, but I realise this isn't high-end Masterpiece. But very good ankle tilt. It's got exactly what it needs. It's got a matrix, it's got a gun, it hasn't got much else for accessories. But I like what it is. We're coming away from the blast effects because there's talk of it actually causing damage to the figure, which again, I don't mind. But I really like it. I think we are obviously going to see more of the Armada Universe line, and that is good. I think it'd be nice to see a red alert as well. Hopefully get a tidal wave, although Fans Hobby are doing that. I just think the Commander class line really does this well. The options that you can get for making bigger bots with deeper engineering make it worth the purchase, and this really is. You can put it in any mode and be happy. I will probably keep it in vehicle mode, but I do like how this stands up alongside Fans Hobby Megatron. Very happy with the purchase. So based on that, I give this 4.5 Rodimus Star Badges. Really have been impressed with it. Can't really go wrong with its price point. And hey, if it's going away the other Chug orders, this might come down in price. I really do recommend you pick it up if you are a fan of this particular mould of Optimus. You really can't go wrong. The playability and fun is there. And there we go, that is my review of Legacy Evolution Commander Class Armada Universe Optimus Prime. Bit of a mouthful. I'll stick some photos up at the end. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you on the next one.